how to listen powerfully or prepare for a coaching conversation with me. This video is going to be about listening. This video is going to be about my single biggest insight or lesson from my life, which is the power and value of listening powerfully. And before that, right, I want to talk about life is not trivial. And maybe the first time that I realized that when I lost my grandmother at maybe 14 or 15. I was 14 or 15 years of age, and that was the first instance that I saw that. At least I experienced death in a way that impacted me very personally. And I still remember as a 15-year-old crying loudly at night because of her passing away. And that was my first realization that this is not forever. This has a limit. Life has a limit, and life is not trivial. Every moment that we spend is not trivial. And I was 28, I think, when I lost a friend of mine to suicide. And that was I was speaking to her on Friday, and on Sunday I heard that she had committed suicide out of the blue. No idea. And then a year later, when I was 29, I lost my mother to cancer. And then very recently, just a few years ago during COVID, it was a very tough COVID in India, where I lost a few family members, very close family members, and whom I have spoken to just a few weeks ago. They were perfectly healthy and everything was good, and then they got COVID, and within 10 days they were gone. So I think one thing that this repetition in my life has made me realize that life is not trivial, that every moment is precious, and how often that we take life for granted, or we take a day or an hour or a minute for granted, and just another minute, it's just another day. There's nothing special about it. But what I realized from that is that every moment is precious, that there's no ordinary moment, right? Every moment is extraordinary if we choose to look at it that way. And this realization has led me to do what I do today. One thing that made me shift from what I was doing earlier, from what I studied and spent most of my life preparing myself for, was being an engineer, being a technical person, being good with leading tech teams, leading teams of engineers and data scientists and designers, and all of that startup techie world. I left that altogether because at one point I realized that there is so much more to life. And that if I don't do that, then that will always be a regret. So one of the decisions that I took 3 or 4 years ago is that each day I would treat it as my last, right? And if I wouldn't make a decision on my last day, then I will not do that today also. Many times I told people, and I spoke this to myself, that I am also dead, especially with my mother's passing away. For a long time, my narrative in my own mind, and many times also spoken to others, was that I'm not there, I'm not alive, I don't feel alive. So in many ways I had died, and I realized that there is no point in living while being dead, because that was what I was doing for a long time, almost 7-8 years after my mom passed away. So I made a decision that I'm going to treat every day as it is going to be my last, and I'm going to live every day like I'm ready to die right now. There is no regrets, right? If I die right now, I would be very happy, very peaceful. I don't think I would say that I missed that. And anytime I get a realization that this is something which I'm postponing, which I'm holding for later, tomorrow, the best time, someday, when I'm ready, I start to take action on that immediately. And in the last 3 years, I'm living a life of no regrets, which means that I do work in a particular way, right? No matter which profession you are in, no matter whether you are an engineer or a manager or a leader or a CEO or a coach, you can still live life in many different ways. And for me, I think what that made me realize that life is short, right? That I cannot take any day, even a minute. I have no idea that whether I will be alive 20 seconds from now, that whether I will be even completing this video or not. leave alone planning for 20 years or thinking about, oh, I will do this when I retire, I will do this when I have this amount of money, or I will do this when I am more confident. There is no time to wait for confidence or courage. It's right now. Life is happening right now. And every moment has the potential. Every moment has the extraordinariness of whatever we think that future or tomorrow will bring that happiness, joy, or extraordinary part, right? So no moment, even right now, is ordinary. Every moment is extraordinary only if we look to see it that way. So which means that there is a particular way that I do what I do today. And when I speak with people, I mean business. Like when I invite you to a conversation, I'm going to talk straight. I do not sugarcoat. I do not beat around the bush because I don't see that, okay, this is not my place or this is not the right time. Because for me, this is the only time that I have. And I'm living each moment like this is my last, like this is the only moment. So I'm not holding anything back for tomorrow. So when I work with people, especially when I coach people, when I meet people, I do not sugarcoat. I'm very clear. I'm very direct. I mean business, right? And because of which I'm able to sometimes produce results. Let's say a coaching result in like 3 hours of talking to somebody, like which would have earlier taken me, or which even now takes a lot of coaches 3 months or even 3 years to get at a breakthrough with somebody. And I'm always looking for the simplest, for the fastest, for the easiest way to be of service to the person in front of me. So I want to talk about how to listen powerfully and how to prepare for a coaching conversation with me. And this is more than if you're talking to me, but if you can just apply these lessons to everywhere in your life. Like I said, right, these are the most important lesson for my life. And I apply this everywhere. No matter where I go, no matter what I'm doing, even while watching videos, even while watching movies, even sometimes by watching my own videos, which I have recorded in the past. By bringing this kind of a listening, I'm able to take a lot out of these conversations. And the way that you can take out more of any conversation with me is by applying these simple ideas around how to listen powerfully. So let me share these ideas which will help you take the most out of any conversation with me or with any other scenario in your life. So first of all, right, with any conversation that I have, I treat that as the most important conversation in my life. If you are in front of me, you are the most important person in my life, period. And that doesn't mean that like I'm comparing you to my wife or my son, or like I'm saying you are more important than my wife or my son. But I'm only saying that when I am in front of you, when I'm talking to you, there is nobody else in my mind. My full attention is on you. And then yes, if my wife calls or if my son like hurts himself in the other room, I will still make time for that. But when I am with you, I show up like you are the most important conversation of my life. Whether you are a client, whether you are a colleague, whether you are a prospective client, whether you are a stranger, whether you are somebody on the street, that's my intention. So if you have a conversation coming up with me, no, that is how I am going to show up, but that is also how you can show up as well, right? As how will you show up? How will you listen if this is the most important conversation that you have of your life? And not because of me, not because there is something special about me, but because we are going to focus totally on you. Everything that I do today is not about me. It's about you. It's about your life. It's about your dreams. It's about your results. So when you speak with me, we will make every second count. So make sure that you do what is needed to bring your best self, to bring your best listening, to treat this conversation as the most important conversation of your life. And without any distraction, right? So without anything which can take you away from our conversations. When I do programs with people, when I do like long-term 2-day, 3-day programs with people in person, I often say that I do programs in the Stone Age, which means that I ask people to shut down their laptops, phones, anything which can take their attention from being in the present moment. And that is a way of listening. That is a way of showing up. See, if you show up like this is the most important conversation of my life, what you are going to get out of the conversation, out of the person, is going to be drastically different than if you show up with, oh, this is just another conversation, or let me just finish this conversation, or this is the next call on my calendar, or like I'm still thinking about my wife, or I'm still thinking about somebody else or something else when I'm with somebody else, right? So if you can simply show up like this is the most important conversation, your listening will go up massively and you will find insights where otherwise it would just be noise. So that's my first request to listen powerfully is, can you treat our conversation, or can you treat any conversation as the most important conversation of your life? And once again, not because of me, but because this is your life, right? It is your dreams, it is your ambitions, it is your results that you are here for. So to make sure that we get the best output for you, my invitation is to listen like this is the most important conversation of your life. My second request around listening, for you to see that you have all the power. And the entire purpose of everything that I do today is to show you how powerful you are. So I am not showing up in that meeting with you as the expert or as somebody who has the knowledge or somebody who has the answers. Or this is not school. What we do is not school. This is not like I'm not an instructor. So I'm not the expert. There is no power in what I say or what I have learned in my life. There is no power for you in whatever I say or whatever I have learned or whatever that I do believe. The power is only in how you listen to me and what you take away as a result of that, what you realize as a result of that. And that does not lies in my speaking, that lies in your listening. Even if my speaking is very poor, if your listening is powerful, you can still take a lot of value. And even if I am speaking perfectly crystal clear, if your listening is weak, you will still ignore, you will still end up ignoring or not really taking it in the value of that. So listen for the gold, right? Do not listen for what you do not agree with, what doesn't work for you. Let that go. Use what works for you. See, my conversation with you, right? Even if we speak for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, even if you take one insight out of it, which is powerful, which could take 30 seconds or 1 minute of like me speaking or we talking to each other, if you can just take that and apply it to your life, there is more power there than getting stuck in the remaining 59 minutes or 29 minutes, that something which you could not understand, doesn't believe in, doesn't agree with, or you think that this will not apply to me. So let go of any of these listenings, right? Many of times when we listen, we are looking for, like, does this work for me? Have I heard of this before? Oh, will this work or not? Is this scientific or not? Is this research based or not? Or this will never work for me, right? We already know based on our listening that we are just kind of putting everything aside. My invitation is to listen for the goal. Like, allow what I am sharing to sink in, and not the entirety. There could be just one thing. There could be just one insight that you get. And if you can start applying that in your life, that is where the power is. The power of coaching or whatever we are going to do together is not in what I speak or what we are going to do in that conversation. The only power is in how do you apply what changes in your behavior in the rest of your life. And that's a big difference between coaching and consulting or mentoring. That as a consultant or as a mentor, I have expertise. I have gone through a journey which you're going through, and then I'm telling you what to do. I'm giving you advice. With coaching, there is nothing I'm telling you to do. There is no advice. There is no you should or you're doing it right and wrong. Everything is thrown back at you for you to listen. See, you have to listen for the gold and ask yourself, how can I apply this to my life today? And if you can just get one thing out of it, that will be your gold. That will make more difference than sometimes even decades of going through life in a very trivial, in a taking life for granted kind of a way. And this is not just about my conversation, right? Many times I watch movies which I like and appreciate with a particular listening. I watch a movie with a listening of how does this apply to me? Or what is this person or this movie trying to communicate to me, given my challenge, given my dreams? And I take away new insights every time I watch a movie with a news listening. Every time I shift my listening and watch a movie or listen to somebody, I take away more. And once again, the key idea is that the power is not in me. The power is in you. And I want you to see that. See, the only person that needs to see that is you. Me saying you are powerful or me trying to show you doesn't matter unless you see that you are powerful, that you has the power, you have the potential already in you. And it's not like I am doing something to bring it out. It's only you who can see that and only you who can act on that. So the third point of how to listen powerfully, how to make it worth, make it count, is to be intentional, is to come prepared. So whenever we have a conversation, come prepared, right? What would make this a powerful conversation? Like, not just we are here for 1 hour because it is in the calendar, not just like we will talk and we will have fun, or like we'll see what happens. Come prepared, like come, if this is a powerful conversation, if this is the best conversation of your life, what would you like to walk away with? Go big, like challenge me, challenge yourself. Like, why are you playing small? Don't show up in this conversation, or like for any conversation for that matter, because this is not just about coaching, this is also about life. Like, are you showing up in a conversation where you're not even going for the win? Are you showing up in conversations of your life where you're playing not to lose, where you're playing let's see what happens, where you say, okay, let me just have this conversation and move on? Or are you saying this is the most important conversation, and if this happens, then this will make the powerful conversation for me? So be intentional. What is it that will make these 30 minutes or 60 minutes the best 30 minutes or 60 minutes of your life? Start with that position instead of just walking in half asleep into conversations. So don't play not to lose, play to win. What does that mean? Is challenge me. Bring your biggest issues, bring your biggest fears. Open up, be clear with me, be honest with me, be straight with me, not be nice. If you don't like something, then speak about that, talk about that, right? I'm not going to beat around the bush, and I invite you to do that. If you're disagreeing with something, then talk about that, right? My job here is not to please you, is to serve you. And I cannot serve you unless you are intentional and you say that this is not working in my life. If this works, then this will become the most powerful conversation in my life. So when you walk into a conversation with me, walk in prepared. Like, what would make this a most powerful conversation? And I will challenge you. I will do the same for you. I'm not going to hold something back. I'm going to speak honestly, which means I'm not going to hold myself back only because I feel that is not appropriate or that is not socially nice. I care about you so much that I will not care about how that will appear in the moment. I'm going to give you my honest truth to serve you, but the onus lies on you to listen to it. Because if your listening is weak, if you're not intentional, then there is no power. There's nothing I can do. The biggest the challenge, the biggest or deeper the issue that you can bring from your life, the more you will take away from our conversations. The next point, right, which I want to share around listening is that be open. Be open when you show up, right? Don't be like this closed. Don't be like closed in your mind, closed in your heart, closed in your thinking. Be open. Be willing to share freely, but also be willing to hear different perspectives. Be willing to be challenged. Be willing to open up and acknowledge your deepest fears. Be willing to show yourself fully in front of me without any filters, without any apprehensions, without any how will this look, right? And be open to not get defensive and still talk about and consider other perspectives, especially which trigger you, which you do not want to listen, right? And I will provoke you. I will speak my truth. My intention is not to provoke you, but when I speak the truth, many times we do not speak the truth. And when I speak the truth, it will appear as a provocation. So you will not get and learn anything from me if you are not open. If you come from a place of I already know. If you come from a place of you don't know my life. If you come from a place of this will not work for me or I have tried this before. If you are not willing to shift your deepest beliefs, opinions, truths about yourself as well as about the world, then nothing which we will do will work, right? It goes without saying, right? Everything that we talk about will be confidential. It will be confidential. But now having said that, don't hold yourself back. Be open. Because you are not holding me back, right? You're only holding yourself back when you walk into any conversation with a closed mind. There is no point of having a conversation to learn if you are not open to learn. If you cannot see what is uncomfortable to you, that might be good entertainment, but certainly there is no growth, no learning, no leadership possible from that conversation. And the last thing which I want to share, if you're showing up for a conversation with me, is I don't want you to trust me. I don't want you to believe me, or I don't want you to trust or believe anything I say. What I want you to do is to test it out for yourself. To not take it as the truth, or not take it like I'm trying to tell you what you should do, or my only intention is whatever that I am throwing back at you, you play with it. You be open with that. You play with it, try it on in your life and see what works, see what doesn't work. It's very easy to disregard an idea because you believe something else or you have tried it 10 times in your life. It's very difficult to say, okay, this is an idea, even though I have tried it or even though I don't believe it, let me put it into practice. Let me see what happens. And that's my invitation with you, with everything that we are going to talk about. Play with it. Be open with that, right? And I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to test it out and then see it for yourselves. I have no interest in convincing you or persuading you. I'm only interested in helping you see what I see for you, and then you can practice it. You can see it for yourself. If it works for you, wonderful. If it doesn't work for you, still wonderful. It's your life after all, right? You get to choose, not me. It's your life. Once you see that, right? So once again, right, I want to emphasize this. Every conversation, I'm not showing up for me. I'm not showing up to prove a point. So I have no interest in whether you like me or not, or you are convinced by what I am talking or not. I am only interested in help you see what could be possible if you step into an idea, if you step into a perspective. And if you don't, then I am perfectly fine. That doesn't mean that I will be disappointed. That doesn't mean that I will stop treating this conversation or you as the most important person as my life. And the only thing that I want you to see is that you are the one, or you are the only one who can actually reject an idea. Whether it is coming from me or from anybody else or anywhere else, the only person who can reject an idea is you. And once you see that you are already strong, that you are already good enough, strong enough, worthy enough to deal with whatever challenge is in front of you, you will walk into our coaching conversations not to fix issues or not to become better, but to actually see that you already are that, and you only are in our conversations to figure out where are you giving away that power, where are you giving away this choice, this authority that you solely have the right to for in your life. So once again, as I wrap this up, listening and how to listen powerfully is probably the single biggest insight and lesson that I have learned in my life. Just by changing how I listen to other people, I can change other people. Just by changing how I listen to the situation, I can change everything inside of me, and then my actions, and then outside of me. So once again, focus on your listening. See how you are choosing to listen right now. So until the next time, keep choosing leadership. Keep listening powerfully. Thank you.